Good evening, Cuse Nation, and welcome to the Upstate Orange podcast on FingerLakes1.tv and YouTube. We're coming at you live from inside the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York on Sunday, March 2nd, 2015. And tonight, on the season finale episode, we've banned the podcast, self-imposed a ban on the postseason for this podcast. And honestly, the thought of coming back in here next Sunday and doing another show on the eve of, what should be the ACC tournament preview show a week before selection. So, just not going to do it. So tonight's it for the season. And we'll be talking about the loss to Duke, the win against Notre Dame, the remaining two games, and, the general sadness of March this year with the Orange banned from postseason play. So the Upstate Orange podcast is brought to you by Generations Bank with locations in Auburn, Farmington, Geneva Phelps, Seneca Falls, Union Springs, and Waterloo. Be sure to check out their mobile banking app or visit them online at mygenbank.com. And by Midday, Miris, and Ricky, your hometown personal injury attorneys. If you've been injured and deserve compensation, call the Finger Lakes Personal Injury Hotline at 315-568-0911 or visit their website at middaymirisricky.com. Well, Verk, how you doing tonight?
Good.
And Brad, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, guys.
You guys want to give me your general impressions of that Duke game real quick?
My general impression was, we didn't play well, and Duke played really good. We didn't defend. We didn't score. It wasn't, obviously you hope for a little bit closer game, but it wasn't all that surprising to me.
How about you, Brad?
Yeah, not too different. My general impression is this is a team that's worn down. They're completely tired from the season that they've had. They haven't had a lot of success other than the last maybe week. The postseason ban, the lack of depth. They only played really 7 guys. It's just wearing on them. You can see just a worn down team. You saw it in the second half. It was just a team that really just doesn't have much gas left in the tank.
For the first time in a while, it looks like this team gave up a little bit. Poor shooting night. Duke didn't shoot that well either. It's just the worst. Which I guess we can go right into the big 5 questions. And that's question 1 is, has March sadness set in for you guys? Because it has for me. I'm devastated. I don't know what the heck's going on this year. I'm really kind of starting to get into a funk here.
Yeah, I think, we always anticipate Syracuse and Selection Sunday and where they're going to be in the ACC tournament. And
best time of the year.
Yeah, all these kind of matchups. And now, our hometown team's not going to be in it. So, March Madness will still be the greatest sporting event of the year for me. But loses a lot of its luster for me, not having Syracuse playing in it.
Hey, you feeling any depression, Brad?
Yeah, it's not going to be the same this year. It's unfortunate because, this is something we always look forward to, whether Syracuse is in it or not. There's been, like last weekend, for example, or last year, for example, when Syracuse lost in the second round. You're still excited about the tournament even after Syracuse is eliminated. And this year, it just seems like them not participating has really just kind of put a pall over all of it. It'll be fun, once we get into it, and, we'll see some of the, we'll probably root for more of the old Big East teams than we will current ACC teams, but yeah, it just doesn't have the same feel. And they're hosting games in the Dome, so that'll kind of be fun to have some of the flavor to it, but it's not the same.
Yeah, well, Verk's rooting for William and Mary, who clinched the Colonial title regular season, so they're guaranteed an NIT bid at least. Verk.
Yes. Big tournament coming up this weekend in Baltimore, so they're going in as the 1 seed. So obviously it'll be exciting if they can get in. So.
Yeah, I'd root for the Tribe if they get in there. I need somebody to root for. But yeah, for me, it's devastating. It's usually the best time of the year, and it's just, can the Masters golf tournament get here soon enough? I don't know. But question 2 tonight: what happened at Cameron? You guys are talking about general fatigue. I kind of agree with that, but this is supposed to be their Super Bowl, It's the one thing they have left. Come out and give it all you have. Leave it on the floor. You're not going to be playing any more basketball in a week. And they just laid an egg, and it was just not fun to watch. I was excited for the game. I thought we would play. I thought it would go down to the wire, and it certainly didn't. It was just terrible, and not many bright spots to take away from it. I don't even know what to ask you guys about this game. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I mean, you guys want to talk about this game at all? Anything you want to talk about, Brad?
I mean, you just have to recognize that Duke's a more talented basketball team than Syracuse is. As much as we'd like to think that Syracuse is upper echelon, this year they're just not, and they haven't been ranked all year. Duke's a top 5 team. They have been all year. They've got McDonald's All-Americans up and down that starting lineup. Does Syracuse have McDonald's All-Americans up and down the starting lineup? Not really. I mean, I guess, perimeter or periphery guys, but Okafor, one of the best players in the country. Justice Winslow, he's one of the best freshmen in the country. Tyus Jones, great freshman. Quinn Cook, frankly, guys, is playing as well as anybody in the ACC right now. I mean, that's a solid team. I don't think there's any shame in losing to Duke.
A solid team that lost in overtime to Virginia Tech.
But losing to Duke on their home court, I don't think there's any shame in that. They're a great team. And
it's no shame, maybe, Brad, but the same team that you're talking about here lost in overtime to Virginia Tech, or won in overtime. They won the game in overtime to Virginia Tech, VPI.
Yeah, and Syracuse will barely beat them twice, too.
Yeah, so I thought it might have been a good matchup. I just wanted to go in there, and one thing you could take away from this season is, okay, let's get that win in Cameron so we don't go into next year having to hear about maybe how we haven't won in Cameron yet in the first 2 years in the ACC, and then we lose next year, it's 3. It just can build on itself. I want to get that win. But, as every ACC team knows, it's almost impossible to win at Cameron because they tweak the rims at the opposing ends at halftime. and the officials, again, it's another just horribly officiated game, I thought. I was going crazy watching that game, these officials. But maybe that's just me.
I wouldn't be too concerned about not having won at Cameron. Syracuse hasn't won in the Dean Dome. They haven't won at UVA. They haven't won at Clemson. I mean, they just, we got to get our foot in the door in this league, and I wouldn't make more of Cameron than any other arena, frankly.
Yeah, well, we talked last week about the 5 things we hate most about the ACC, but yeah. Are you guys going to watch the ACC tournament closely? Maybe take off work?
That's a good one.
All right, move on to question 3, and that's, can Kaleb Joseph improve for next year? I mean, I can't believe he hasn't gotten no better from start to finish, and this game in Cameron showed it. And Boeheim's pulling this guy for large chunks of the second half, if not entirely. Right now he's slated probably to be our front runner for point guard next year, but is it kind of a lost cause, Virk, with this kid?
I'm not giving up on him, but I don't think he's the answer for next year. I think we move, play Benajay and Patterson at the point next year and see how that goes. We got a bunch of forwards and guards coming in. None of them are true point guards, but there's some bigger guards. So, we got some guys if we slide Benajay up to a point, and we got some guys who could play that small forward position. And, I think Patterson has gotten better. He hasn't shot the ball at all, but he's one guy who actually can create, I think, a little bit. He's a pretty good passer. He's athletic. I just feel more confident with him in there over Joseph at this point.
Yeah, Patterson has played a little better. Brad, what do you think about Joseph? Is there hope, light at the end of the tunnel?
He can definitely get better, guys. I mean, going into Duke, into Cameron, a freshman, I don't care if you've been a freshman for 30 games. It's still going to be a tough environment for you. I mean, he's had good games. He played well against Notre Dame. He played real well against BC a week ago, week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I mean, he's had his moments, right? He's a freshman. You got to, you can't throw him out right now and say, no, I'm not going to start him as a sophomore. I'm going to start Benajay. I mean, it's like what the Bills did to put E.J. Manuel on the bench. You're not going to develop a guy when you just stick him on the bench for the sake of winning right away. I mean, you commit to 4 years to a guy, and if he's only a 1 year guy, then that means he's played a great season. But if not, then you got to develop the guy and you got to play him. He's the only true point guard in this program, and even next year he'll be the only true point guard in this program. Yep. For better or worse, I think you stick with him.
Yeah, and you can look at guys like Raheem Christmas or Rick Jackson. They're big guys, obviously, but they're guys who obviously made great strides from year 1 to year 4. It's just sometimes with Joseph, it just seems like he's not even listening or trying. And not that he's not trying, but he's like making the same mistakes over and over again.
I think he just needs a reset. Maybe fresh start, fresh slate next year. He obviously needs to improve his shooting. He's an awful shooter. He's he can get in the lane and once in a while he hits his pull-ups, but from 3-point range he's not even close. So he's just got to get in the gym and get better.
mean, guys, think of how bad Trevor Cooney was as a freshman, especially shooting the basketball. And I mean, he's better now. I mean, he's still spotty, and streaky, but it happens. Freshmen, there's only a handful of freshmen that are like
Tyler Ennis,
like
Carmelo
what you see
Anthony.
with Duke, and what you saw with Tyler Ennis. I mean, there's guys that are sort of unique talents, and then there's guys that are legitimate freshmen. The Kentucky guys are unique talents. Kaleb Joseph is a standard issue freshman. He'll get better.
All right, well, I'll hold you to that. Question 4. Let's start talking about some exciting things, and that's the emergence this year of Michael Benajay and Tyler Roberson. Which one of these two are you more excited about going forward?
I think that's easy for me, Benajay. I think he's made tremendous strides this year from where he was last year, and I think he's going to be an all ACC type player next year. He's shooting close to 50% in ACC games. He does a lot of different things. He rebounds. He can do everything. He plays that zone really well. Good assist guy, good rebounder. He's been able to score lately. I just see him really having a huge senior year. Roberson's got better. He's still, he needs to be able to make a 10, 12-foot jump shot, and his hands aren't great. He's had some huge rebounding games, and I think he's very active. He works hard. I do like what I've seen from him, but I think the ceiling's a little bit higher for Benajay.
How about you, Brad?
Yeah, I would agree with Burke. With what I see from Benajay, I see he could easily be a first team All ACC preseason next year. I mean, he's one of the most talented guys in this league. He's produced over the last 2 months. I think he can continue to get better. I think the more he has the ball in his hands, I think the better decisions he can make. I mean, he could be a triple-double guy. I could see that next year, with as big as he is, and he can distribute the basketball. With Roberson, there's a bit of inconsistency there that we have to shore up. He was real solid last night, and I thought he outplayed Rakeem Christmas, frankly, last night. And I do think I will see continued improvement from Roberson. I think maybe another year. By the time Roberson's a senior, I think he can be a first-team All-ACC guy, but I think Benajay's there already.
Yeah, I'm excited about Benajay because heading into next year, we got our stud senior set to go, and he can do it all. And luckily for us, he can man the point a little bit. He can handle the ball. I'm really excited about Roberson, though, mainly probably because at least that entire draft class wasn't a wash, The
recruiting class?
Yeah, that recruiting class of Johnson and Patterson. And, we can all agree that it's off at this point. Patterson and Johnson are disappointments of what we hope they'd be. But Roberson, I can see him coming back next year as an upperclassman and just having an outstanding year. Like you say, improve on his consistency. And really be a double guy every single night, for this team. So I'm excited about both of them, both bright spots. Benajay will be a fifth-year senior too. Don't forget next year, which adds a little bit more experience.
And Cooney,
and Cooney, a couple fifth-year seniors. So even though we're not sure how far along Kaleb Joseph will be, we got two guys in our backcourt.
You don't think Cooney's going to go pro?
You never know nowadays, you never know. Paul Harris was a bit of a shock, remember that?
Yeah. Eric Devendorf.
Devendorf, yeah. I always wonder about those. That seemed like there was a little backdoor stuff going on that maybe pushed him out the door.
Yeah,
but
maybe their academics weren't up to par. Who knows?
All right, guys, this has been question number 5 for the past 2 weeks, and I'm going to ask it again. Can Syracuse win 20 games?
No.
We got 2 more left.
I don't think they can beat Virginia.
Yeah, that's a tough one Monday night in the Dome, without a doubt, but at least it's at home. Senior night, Virginia's a very good team, guard-oriented. Maybe Christmas has his way a little bit. And then at NC State, I could see us winning Virginia, losing at NC State. But
NC State's good. I mean, they can score. I've watched them play a few times this year. They're kind of another team that's had some bad losses, but some good wins. They beat Duke. So
Carolina.
Yeah, nothing easy there between getting Virginia at home and at NC State.
Can we do it, Brad?
We can. Mathematically, we can. I don't see it. That's Virginia's a tall order. The way that team plays defense, I mean, This Syracuse team struggles to score the basketball against a team like Virginia. Boy, if Syracuse gets 50, I think we'll be very fortunate.
If we win, it'll be 48-47.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because I don't think Syracuse is scoring. They're definitely not scoring over 60. They'll be lucky, I think, to get over 50.
So that should be a fun one to watch. Well,
basketball back 4 years.
I'm interested to see how the fans turn out for it, too, being senior night for Christmas. You'd like to see them push that 30,000 mark. Tough to do on a Monday night, but, this is it. And Christmas certainly deserves a proper send-off. Going down is one of the great big men ever to play at Syracuse, I think. It's especially one of the best single seasons.
Yeah, he had a great year.
Well, it'll be Virginia, 7 o'clock on ESPN, Monday night. And then Saturday night it'll be at NC State, a noon start on CBS. So hopefully, before we step aside for our commercial break, I can't tell you how excited I was when I turned on the TV last night to find that Vitale was calling the game.
You got a text from me to that effect. That wasn't very flattering.
Yeah. I mean, come on, guys. What the heck? What was worse, listening to Vitale the game or having to listen to him talk to Joe Lunardi during the game for like 10 minutes?
How about the toupee on Joe Lunardi, guys, huh?
It's not a toupee. He sent a video out on Twitter where another ESPN guy was pulling his hair on the camera. It is not a toupee.
Oh, yeah? Jesus.
I think he's in on the scam. I can't fathom how it's not.
It really did look like a toupee, but it really is just a lush, full head of hair parted over, I think. Could you check out that video if you can find it? It was funny because, I think all of America assumed it was a toupee, but why do we got to talk bracketology during the game? That's a halftime segment. That's a Sports Center segment. Not a Duke-Syracuse sidebar while the game's going on. I was really disappointed in ESPN by doing that. It's just
slap in the face to Syracuse, knowing that Syracuse can't play in that tournament. Like, that's what I thought to me.
Yeah.
Like, all you're doing is just laughing in the face of Syracuse because you can't participate in this party that we're talking about here.
And that's what made it a little bit worse. To be honest with you, to sit there and have to watch that going on during the broadcast, it's I don't know. I hope it's not a trend that they continue in other games. But all right, guys, let's stop.
I thought we'd have a Vitale free season, but we had to endure it one time.
Yeah, he's not getting any better like Kaleb Joseph. We're going to step aside for 60 seconds, hear from our sponsors. When we come back, this week's Orange Trivia on another edition of Connor's Corner.
Guidance and partnership through every step of the journey. Welcome to Generations Bank.
The Newark Pilots. See tomorrow's Major League stars today. For more information, go to newarkpilots.com.
Call the Finger Lakes Personal Injury Hotline at 315-568-0911. That's 315-568-0911. Madej, Maris, and Ricky, your hometown personal injury attorneys. And welcome back to the Upstate Orange Podcast on FingerLakes1.tv and YouTube. Now, this is our season finale, so we're going away for the summer. When we come back next fall, make sure you subscribe now to make sure you pick us up when we get back. You can click that red subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on Stitcher.com, which is a great little mobile application for your phone. You can listen to some podcasts on the go, including the Upstate Orange Podcast. We're online at podcast.fingerlakes1.com/upstatehoops. We're also on Twitter and Facebook. So lots of ways you can all wrapped up by then. But hopefully a renewed interest in Syracuse and hopefully making a run, towards March and maybe national championship. But until then, Brad, Verg, you think that it's funny that they'll win the national championship, or did you get a funny text?
No, I think that's,
Benajay, Cooney, the freshman class, Roberson. Johnson.
So yeah, I'm not too keyed up on the guys we got. I mean, outside of Benajay, I mean Cooney's. I don't know. He's gonna be the 2 guard to lead us to the national championship. Kaleb Joseph's the point guard to take us to a national championship. I mean, Roberson. I mean, I don't know.
Even this year's team, if we were eligible, has a chance.
Sure. So does William and Mary.
Right. So why not reach for the stars? So, Brad, last edition of the year, I assume that this is some great trivia that you have for us.
That's fantastic, you guys. It probably hasn't been better all season, so I can't wait to throw this one at you. You'll
all right.
Enjoy it from start to finish. So I don't know if you're aware, Syracuse isn't playing in the NCAA tournament this year. So I don't know, that's recent information. You guys might not have known that or not, but Syracuse is not in the tournament. But Syracuse has been in the tournament in the past. And we're going to harken back to some of the glory days when Syracuse was actually an NCAA tournament participant.
Okay.
I need you guys to tell me who's played the most minutes in the NCAA tournament in the history of Syracuse University basketball.
The most minutes, so they would be teams that went on some runs.
And this is over a career.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about guys that played national champ. In '96, all those guys, or some of those guys, were banned from postseason, like John Wallace. So I'm not going to say Wallace.
Like Derek Coleman.
Yeah, but again, I think of him losing to Richmond in the second round. But you know what? Coleman's probably a pretty good pick. Coleman's probably a pretty good pick, as is Sherman Douglas. Or maybe not Sherman.
Jerry
he didn't play much
McNamara.
as freshman. Yeah, McNamara. I think of him.
He had a double overtime game there one of his years, I believe, sophomore year, right? BYU, didn't he score like 40-something points?
Yeah, that going to double overtime, though?
I don't know. Maybe I'm making it up.
No, I think McNamara is a good guess. I think Coleman's a good guess. I think Todd Bergen's a good guess. I think that Lawrence Moten, maybe not Moten.
He was in the band.
Actually, recently we've gone to back to.
I think that was the time they lost to Rhode Island in the second round. But then they went to the Sweet 16 and Final 8 in his last 2 years. So he played a lot of games and a lot of minutes. And obviously, he was playing as a freshman. He was playing quality minutes. So yeah,
He's
Derek
probably
Coleman, good call.
He's probably our all-time leading rebounder in tournament play too. But I'm not going to have you verify
that question, but you already answered it.
Oh, that's right, we did.
Hard one. Derek Coleman was an easy one.
Okay, so what about Jerry McNamara?
Well, I don't have a list of guys.
I got you. We just needed an answer. Okay. All right.
No. So who's got the most points for Syracuse in NCAA tournament play in their career?
McNamara. I mean, he had 40.
I have a list on this one, so I only have the guys that.
It's not McNamara?
It is not McNamara.
John Walls.
John Wallace is correct. Good call.
Wow. In 3 years.
In 3 years, because they were banned the 1 year. You're absolutely right. So he played 11 postseason games, and he had a total of 230 points.
Wow, so there's hope for Kaleb Joseph, too.
So he averaged over 20 a game for 3 years in the tournament, huh?
Yeah, he was a beast.
Yeah.
He was the best, and the only former Orangeman ever to appear on this podcast.
That's true.
So he's one of our favorites for lots of reasons. Good for him.
So who's played the most games in their career for Syracuse in the NCAA tournament?
Isn't that Coleman? It wasn't.
He has the most minutes.
Oh, minutes.
Played the most minutes, but not necessarily the most games.
Ah. Todd Bergen.
Todd Bergen's incorrect.
How about like somebody like
Stevie Thompson.
Yeah.
Jim, Stevie Thompson is an excellent call. That's correct.
Wow, good for me. That is a good call.
So here's the thing I don't get. I don't get how Stevie Thompson, who played the exact same year, came in as a freshman at the same time as Coleman, ended his career at the same time as Coleman, played 15 NCAA tournament games, and Coleman didn't. I don't know. I don't remember Coleman not playing in any NCAA tournament games where he was eligible to play.
Yeah, I don't either. That's strange.
But I don't know.
He must have missed one somewhere or something, apparently.
Yeah, must have. I don't know. So here's the next question, which is sort of related to the last one. But who started the most tournament games in their career?
Who started the most NCAA tournament games?
Stevie Thompson.
I don't think he started as a freshman.
He did not start as a freshman. Take those 6 games out.
Jerry McNamara.
Incorrect.
It's not Coleman, I take it.
It is not Coleman.
This will be somebody from a recent run, I think. This will be a post-2010 guy.
Yeah, it's good thinking, Jim. Build on that.
Yeah, it's not Arinze Onuaku, obviously.
Nope.
But somebody from his teams. Brandon Trish.
Brandon Trish is correct, Jim. Fantastic. Brandon Trish has started 14 games, 14 NCAA tournament games, followed, and some reason they listed more on this one, but followed by 12 NCAA tournament games started by Derek Coleman, Sherman Douglas, Ronnie Cycli.
Huh.
So Coleman started 12 games, and I don't think he ever not started.
Right.
So Coleman somehow played 12 NCAA tournament games where Stevie Thompson played 15. So there were somehow 3 NCAA tournament games that Coleman didn't play in somehow, it seems. Or just didn't start. But
no, it's unlikely he wouldn't
that was
start.
Weird. I don't remember Coleman sitting out any length of time.
Oh, yeah, maybe an injury during the first 2 rounds or something. Or
might have been.
Never a
Maybe he was
suspension.
injured and sat out a game or 2 and then came off the bench in the 3rd game or something. I don't know. I don't remember that at all.
That is odd. Anybody out there in Orange Nation has an answer to that, send us an email at upstatehoops@fingerlakes1.com. We'd love to hear an explanation for that one. But, hey, we're doing pretty good with trivia tonight. These are tough questions, and we're nailing them.
Yeah, I'm impressed. You guys are doing well last time this season. So who has the highest scoring average in NCAA tournament play in their career?
It's got to be Wallace.
Carmelo.
Oh, good call, Burke. Or
I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. I didn't really.
You say Carmelo. I'm starting to think McNamara. That one game. I gotta go. Well, then again,
I'm gonna go with Carmelo.
McNamara also had that game where he got hurt and or where he had the bad back, where they lost to when they got the senior year.
Ole Miss or Mississippi State or something.
It was his senior year. The team that knocked him off. But yeah, I'll go with Carmelo. Brad as well as Verk. I agree with him.
Incorrect on Carmelo.
And it's not McNamara?
It is not McNamara either.
Scoring average, NCAA tournament. Lawrence Moten.
Lawrence Moten is correct. 23.3 points per game over 7 games.
Wow.
A good performance by the great Lawrence Moten.
Now, he played in a double overtime game in the NCAA tournament against Arkansas.
He did.
Called a timeout when we didn't have one.
It had to have been double overtime.
Yep.
Fortunately. All right, let's shift gears. In one single NCAA tournament, who's played the most minutes in a single NCAA tournament?
Wallace.
Nah, maybe, but remember, he got early exit to that Kentucky game.
Carmelo.
Incorrect on Wallace.
Yeah, I think it might be Carmelo because I don't remember him ever coming out. He had a bad back. I think he played almost every minute of that run.
Incorrect on Carmelo.
What about Hakeem Warwick then? I'm going to stick with that team.
Incorrect again.
Derek Coleman.
Incorrect.
Sherman Douglas.
Incorrect.
All right.
Jerry McNamara.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I got it. Ready?
Lazar Sims.
Lazar Sims is correct.
Well, that is a great guess. Yeah, 96. He was a point guard. Lazar Sims
like
led us
230 minutes over 6 games in 1996.
Sims led us to a national title game. Why can't Kaleb Joseph?
Yeah, Sims didn't play much till his senior year, So.
Yeah.
You know why? Because Lazar Sims was a senior and Kaleb Joseph was a freshman.
Yeah, good point.
Kaleb Joseph, he's got 3 more years. If Lazar Sims, probably as a freshman, would have been no better than Kaleb Joseph if you had thrown him in the lineup for 35 games.
It is true. It's the state of college basketball that we got to take a guy like Kaleb Joseph and start him because our point guard from the year before went pro. that wasn't. Yeah, couldn't never suspected in a million years that Tyler Ennis would be an NBA prospect after 1 year. But that's good trivia, Brad. Any more?
Yeah, who's got the most points in one single NCAA tournament for Syracuse? This is a tough one. This is a bit obscure. I'll be impressed if you guys get this.
Points in a tournament.
So what? Didn't we answer that with Wallace already?
No, that was in a career.
Oh, that's right. One tournament.
One single tournament.
Points. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a national title team. It could be a team that went to the Elite Eight even. An obscure one, huh? Or, wait a second, Brad's going to take us back to 1975, I think, with this one.
No. So I tried to throw a caveat. It's not 75.
Okay.
Not pre-Boeheim.
Okay.
It's just one that you got to think about a little bit. It's not going to be one that jumps off the top of your head.
Single.
In other words, it's not Carmelo Anthony.
Right. And therefore not Jerry McNamara or Derek Coleman.
Or John Wallace.
It must be off an Elite Eight team. How about Adrian Autry?
Oh, interesting. No, incorrect.
Okay.
How about Lawrence Moulton?
Incorrect.
An obscure one, huh?
I mean, think about it, guys. You got to be able to play in the Final Four to get the most points, unless you're scoring 30 a game.
All right.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. So we got 86. You got Cycli, Greg Monroe.
Who's the lead? I mean, who was their leading scorer though? If it's maybe Stevie Thompson.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Who else had a pretty nice tournament was Queth Dwaney, but he didn't outscore Mello. No. Yeah.
How about Stevie Thompson?
Incorrect.
Somebody off that team?
Yeah, it is off that team though.
Well, then it's got to be Cycli.
Ronnie Cycli is correct.
Really?
Okay.
Jesus.
Ronnie Cycli had 138 points over the course of those 6 games.
Man, I don't remember that at all.
Was he a sophomore at that point?
He was a junior, I think.
Was he a junior?
Yeah, because in the career it says he played from 85 to 88, so in 87 he was a junior, yeah.
You can Seton Hall, his freshman year, he was on a breakaway. And he went up to try to reverse dunk it, and he totally missed the rim. He missed the rim completely on the reverse jam as a freshman. He was always
because Kaleb Joseph would have slipped and fell out of bounds.
Cycli, another example of a guy who really improved from year to year and made a great career in the NBA for himself. And then as a DJ after basketball. DJ Ronnie.
Perhaps one of the most well-rounded Syracuse Orangemen.
Hey, that's great trivia for the season finale, Brad. Is that it? Any more?
You know what, guys? I could go all night long, but yeah, that's ample to go into the off season with.
Yeah, save some for next year. It's amazing, actually, that we've done this now for 3 years. This is our 3rd season, full season, and Brad's brought trivia every week. How can that be? How can you come up with so many questions? You should. If you were just writing these down, Brad, every week, you could publish a book.
Well, you're right. I should have. It's a lost opportunity on my part.
Well, we can go back and listen to them all in the Upstate Orange Podcast Connor's Corner trivia book. We'll talk terms later, Brad. How we'll split up the profit.
Right. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a cut on that. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
I've seen Syracuse trivia books before. But I think that the trivia questions that get asked on this show are just great. Even some of the ones that I come up with when you're not here, Brad.
Yeah. I enjoy listening to your trivia. You guys should ask me from now on.
Well, next year the challenge is going to be to come up with new trivia, or you can rehash it because we'll have forgotten by then anyway. So, all right, guys, for the last time, let's do a quick list segment here. And I don't want to leave this year on a down note. I want to talk about the top 5 things this Syracuse season that you're encouraged about, or the just basically the top 5 things about this season. It's been a horrible year. The postseason ban, the drop out of the top 25. I mean, we could talk about all the bad things. I want to hear 5 good things on our season finale. I don't know who wants to start. You want me to start?
Sure.
All right. Number 5, I got the shoring up of our 2015 recruiting class. It's good to know that we have some reserves coming in, the cavalry, if you will. 4, the emergence of Tyler Roberson is with Coleman out, and let's not forget about McCullough. He'll likely be back next year. But we needed a big man to complement Christmas, and Roberson really stepped up, and I'm really excited about his junior and senior years here at Syracuse. 3, Michael Benajay. The beginning of the year, we didn't know what to expect from this guy. He's turning into an All-American level player, and really excited about his season next year. Number 2, we had huge crowds at the Dome, even after the postseason ban, and that's probably one of the most exciting things is that we still turned out for a team that we have has no shot at making a Final Four or winning an ACC tournament or anything, but we still turned out to the tune of $30,000 30,000 fans, multiple times this year, and that's great to see. And then number 1 was just Christmas's senior season. It's just amazing to watch him play as well as he has, and the numbers that he's put up. And now we're talking about where he's going to go in the draft. Some people say late second round. I just don't see how you can't take this guy. 15 to 20. He just seems like a guy you can drop right in. But those are my top 5. Instead of you guys giving me your top 5, give me anyone's different than what I mentioned.
I agree with a lot of things on there. I think the biggest thing is the good recruiting class we have coming in. The biggest surprise or things that happened this year would be what you just talked about, would be Rakeem Christmas just having a great year, which I didn't really see that coming at all, and give him all the credit. And and Benajay, I really was happy to see the way he progressed.
Anything that I didn't hit on, Brad, on your list?
I was very pleased over the last week and a half with those wins against Louisville and then Notre Dame. I mean, this is a team that has every reason to just kind of roll over and kind of play dead, and unfortunately we saw that a little bit last night. But going into Notre Dame, top 10 team, and really they outclassed Notre Dame. They were a better team from start to finish, and that really impressed me. And Louisville game prior to that, and Louisville was missing the point guard, but against a top 15 team, and a team that's really had their number over the last several seasons, to be able to just represent better than I kind of thought they would. They have no reason to play really. And, you hope you see that version of Syracuse over the next 2 games rather than the one you saw Saturday night. But I think those are very positive signs that there's some pride left in this team, and I was pleased by that. One other thing I was pleased with was Boeheim's book. It was an enjoyable read over Christmas.
Oh, good one, good call. Yeah,
it was nice to get a little inside look into the program that we don't always get, and so that was a bright side to me, even though it didn't really have anything to do with this year's team, but it was some insight into some of these guys, which was fun.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That's a good call. That was a great book. Verk, I'm going to let you borrow my copy.
You finished it?
I finished it, a few weeks ago.
I was a little worried that you were never going to finish that book. But
No, I did. It was great. I'll get it to you shortly here. Brad, you mentioned the fact that Louisville without their point guard. One of the things that we kind of forget about this year is that we lost Dwan Coleman early. We lose Chris McCullough, who, he was slumping midseason, but you're telling me that we couldn't use that guy this second half of the season here? Got to give Syracuse credit for having the record, I guess, that they do with the bad luck that they've had, and starting with Ennis and Jeremy Grant going pro. And I think Boeheim's done a really good job.
Yeah, no doubt. And when you mentioned those 2 guys, they have 4, possibly 5 recruits coming in next year. It's going to be a little crazy as far as playing time and who's going to be where. I mean, you throw McCullough and Coleman back into a mix with these 4 freshmen, with everybody but Christmas coming back. I mean, there's a lot of there's going to be some great battles in the preseason for playing time next year.
Yeah, you got that right. And who knows if there'll be a transfer situation. We're still got a scholarship issue, if Thomas Bryant chooses to come. But all right, fellas, let's go for the final time. 2 for the road this year. Number 1, we just need quickly Virginia and NC State predictions. We already talked about it. I'll start. we're going to beat Virginia 48-47. Then we're going to go down to NC State. We're going to win that game 84-36. It's going to be unbelievable.
We're going to lose to Virginia 55-47.
Okay.
And we're going to beat NC State.
Nice.
We're going to beat them 75-72.
Okay, that sounds like a good game, Brad.
I think Virginia beats Syracuse 60-44. Like the 44 score, but that's the only thing good about that score. Then against NC State, I agree with Verk. I think Syracuse wins that game. I think they win 76-69.
Maybe spoil NC State.
Out on a high.
Yeah, that would be good. All right, 2 for the road. Last discussion topic of the season. I want to know where we're going to be on March 1st, 2016. Where's this program going to be 1 year from now? Are we going to be back number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament? Are we going to be on the bubble? You know, what do you guys
Are we eligible
see?
to play in the tournament?
Are we going to be eligible? Yeah, there's a lot of questions, but a lot can change in a year. 1 year from tonight, March 1st, where do you think we'll be?
2 seed going in next year. Co-ACC champions.
Like a 7-8 ranked team in the country?
Yeah.
Jeez, I would love to be back there. We've really been spoiled the past few years with these high rankings and
How can we
great
not be
teams.
with Kaleb Joseph and Tyler Roberson coming back?
That's in Vinajay and company. Brad, where do you see us 1 year from now?
I think at this point next season, this team will have 5 losses. They'll be in 3rd place in the ACC, and they'll be ranked 14th in the country.
Yeah, it's kind of where I got it. I really think that there'll be... I think this will be a team that's improves throughout the year next year because we have so much young talent, but it's going to be tough for them to define their roles. I don't know which one of these names, Malachi Richardson, Loudon, Howard, maybe Thomas Bryant, McCullough. I don't know which one of these guys are going to be the key players, but there certainly is going to be a big pool of talent to pull from. DeJuan Coleman coming back. We're going to have to obviously fill a big void left by Christmas, but other than that, we're getting everybody back and then some. So no reason to think, but I think it's going to be a season in progress with us peaking towards the end of the season. So I even, Brad, to be honest with you, I got us maybe it's 7-8 losses maybe by this time, heading into the NCAA tournament or the ACC tournament, firmly in the NCAA tournament, but maybe ranked around 20th. Maybe a little bit better, but I might change my tune. It's just it seems like when we get all these every year, even since 2003, we hear about the recruiting classes coming in. And every year they trot them out, and we're like, how does this guy have a scholarship? It's really frustrating to see. Very rarely do we get these freshmen come in and play the way that guys like Tyler Ennis or Carmelo Anthony did, but. Or even like the freshmen we see at Kentucky.
In reality, though, Syracuse is going to be probably one of the most experienced teams in the country next year. I mean, we returned 4 starters. We're going to be starting 2 fifth-year seniors.
Yeah.
We get Coleman back, McCullough back. There's a lot to work with there. And if we can shore up the point guard, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, Verk, now that you put it like that, I think we might be the top-ranked team in the country by this time next year,
That's more like it, Jim. That's what I expect out of you.
All right, guys. Well, Brad, thanks again for another great year.
It was fun, guys.
And Verk,
more positive things to talk about.
Yeah, and Verk, thanks again. A great season. We really talked about a lot of stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, and thanks to you got something to say before we go?
No,
right.
I was just burping.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening in to the Upstate Orange podcast this year. We'll be back again next November with another season. Over 40,000 of you tuned in for the show this season, which is more than double what it was 2 years ago. So we're really glad that a lot of Orange Nation is tuning in to talk a little Cuse basketball. And not only just the talk, but the trivia that Brad brings to the table. I think it's just great for any Orange basketball fan, especially when we kind of sometimes go off into tangents talking about some names that you might not hear much anymore, like Louis McCroskey. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Remember, subscribe to our feed on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, or our RSS feeds at podcast.fingerlakes1.com/upstate hoops. So for the professor, Brad Connor, and Matt Verkey, I'm Jim Sinacropi. Have a great week. Have a great summer. And let's go Orange.